decided to stop saying what number episode we're on because
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
holds us to some
Screw
kind
that.
of binding contract. And I don't like that.
Mm.
I want us to be able to just do what we need to do. The numbers will come on their own.
Right,
So
right,
all
right.
that
Like
other
we
you
wanna be
heard don't mean
we don't want to be held
Yeah.
uh
They
by
can't.
any constraint.
Chains. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, constraints is a is a better word. Yeah. Anyway, on this episode, one of my favorite topics, we're going to be talking about the world of, well, not just the world of, but how technology affects gaming. Gaming, and that goes as far as like PC gaming, consoles, things that go into making said things in the world, and like big companies and all these different things.
Uh-huh.
Something I've been very enamored with since I was a kid. Well, let me not be sexist. When men and women play games, but it's predominantly you see. No, actually, you don't. I can't even say that anymore because there are a lot of women that play games now. So it's like
Yeah.
it's
I feel
it's
like before, yeah, it used to be more of like a
yeah,
dudes type of
dudes
thing,
would
but
would
then
be,
yeah,
but
you're getting a
now
lot of
it's more open to women and
females
everything.
and women. Yeah.
But like one of the one of the more fun things about tech is gaming, in my opinion. Gaming and entertainment. Those things, as technology progresses, those things get more impressive, more interesting. Like building a PC nowadays. You look at a PC like one of the old school PCs, like Windows with the big back monitors and the dial up
Yeah.
tone. You open that up, it's
Freaking
got
CRT monitors,
exactly
cathode ray tube, or
like
whatever the hell
you
that
open
is.
that up, it's got three in it. It's got the fan, got the CPU, and maybe a hard drive with a CD-ROM in it. And then the rest of that space is cobwebs, dust, and depression. Like that's what them look like. You open one of them up, you're just
uh,
depressed. Nowadays, you got water cooling, you got GPUs now, SSDs, NVMe SSDs, all these different hard drives. The tower alone looks like a hotel room. You got all these different things that go into making a pretty good PC, and it's like as tech gets more and more impressive, these things get like right now. I'm recording this on a PC that I built with the 4070 Ti Super.
4070 Ti.
Yep.
That's
Which
dope.
which if y'all didn't know, that's NVIDIA. And
Yeah.
this is not sponsored,
RTX.
but also if you use AMD, you're a that's all I'm going to say. I've picked my side, NVIDIA gang, all day, every day. I'll get into
Yeah.
that point later.
It's a good thing that you brought that up because I feel like one of the main things that I wanted to say on this episode is that NVIDIA is not the only GPU. So I do understand that you picked your side, but I feel like I just need the folks at home, the kids at home, please, NVIDIA, especially the NVIDIA RTX series. You know, they got the 4000 series. Oh, no, they got the
They're at
5000
5
series
now.
now, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got that 5090, which is like costs like my whole rent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
NVIDIA is not the only GPU maker out there, kids. Like just letting you know. And I don't know. I probably won't say it's the best either. I do feel definitely it's the most popular
It's a
right
crowd
now.
favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a crowd favorite. But like I mean, if your pockets are hurting and you still want to, enjoy gaming and get good performance, there's other brands out there, Intel, Arc, they got their thing going on.
Uh huh. Yeah. No. Oh yeah, yeah, Intel, yeah, for sure.
AMD is out there. They got their thing going on. I know, like back in the day, AMD wasn't always the best. I feel like they always had the hardware and the architecture and stuff. But I think it was just mostly like a software thing with their drivers that
Yep.
was holding them back. And I think back in like 2018 or something, they had like a whole rebrand because they hired a new CEO who was like this chick who was like just running and she kind of turned the whole company around. So they implemented a lot of changes with their software, and then it like utilized the hardware they already had, which was really being underutilized
Yep.
prior to that. And now AMD, they're doing some good stuff
I
with
was gonna
chips
say
and
because
GPUs
they
and all that.
it's a good thing you said that timeline because I was gonna say sub COVID, you wouldn't find a buying an AMD chip for their life. If they're buying an AMD chip, they need like the bare minimum without they were basically if you buy an AMD chip, you're buying your own parts, you don't have a job, and you're just trying to make ends meet. You just want to play something with your homies because you're tired of running your on 60 frames. Everybody's flaming you in the group chat. That's what was buying AMD
They're holding
chips.
up the lobby.
Exactly. You'd be like, bro, I swear to God, we've been in this queue for 40 minutes. You'd be like, hey, bro, chill on me, bro. Please, bro. Whole time you're at 3%. These already been loaded in. But you are correct. After like 2018, I feel like 2021 to 2022, AMD like skyrocketed because if you look at the benchmarks for the AMD GPUs compared to some of the 50s, not even the 50 series, some of the 30, 40, and 50 series NVIDIA chips, they're like sometimes you cannot justify the cost of an NVIDIA chip over an AMD chip because it's like
That's what I'm saying.
These do the same thing. So I will give you that. But once again, it goes back to the same topic we was talking about in the last episode. Samsung, iPhone. I don't give a if they're better. I'm NVIDIA gang all the way. Come on now. Like, I'm buying their chips to the data. And then you said Intel. Whew. Intel's like using Boost Mobile. Like, it's like the difference between you got Verizon and AT&T, and then you be like, hell yeah, hey, but don't forget about Boost Mobile and Cricket. Like, no, nobody's.
Hey, I mean, if you pay like $25 a month for that Boost Mobile, then hey, I ain't gonna hold you, dog.
You're right.
Do your thing.
You know what? Hey, poverty hits us all at one point in our lives.
In this economy, bro,
True.
with all these tariffs and shit,
True.
bro.
You're not even wrong. You know what?
Hey.
I'll give you that one. I won't even say nothing about that. But just know, we'll be looking at you funny. I will side eye the shit out of you if I see you coming to me with the, hey man, I got an Intel GPU, and I'm like, some stink around here. What the fuck is that? But that's just my bias towards the chips. As far as all their other things, NVIDIA software is pretty user friendly. I think that's another thing that was a problem with AMD. It was when you were right, is their software. They didn't really have like the NVIDIA like user friendly esque system once you got the GPU, because like NVIDIA has GeForce Experience, which is pretty fucking like it does its own thing. Like you just hit the when it comes out with an update. And even if you don't update it, most of the time the drivers are like pretty sufficient, unless like a new game that came out like a week ago came out. Then they update it like that. But if it's just like a base mark, like a base benchmark, it'll run for as long as you need it to run. You only really need to do it if something new came out, and that's like any other driver. AMD didn't have. I don't know because I haven't used them, but I don't think AMD had such a user friendly operating system in the sense like NVIDIA had. There was no like brand name NVIDIA operating system for AMD, so there was kind of like you couldn't really like test benchmarks, overclock, things like that. Like it had the hardware to do it, but like you would have the users had to make up to fucking find the benchmarks for things and take things where they needed to go, and then thus came. But then 2020 and on, they started getting, I don't know, I gotta look it up, but AMD software is like it's basically like GeForce, but like their branding and all that stuff.
I actually have it. I have an AMD software. I think they call it Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Because I have I have an AMD processor, so it helps me with that, and it helps like with your optimizations on your games and stuff. And
Yeah.
like they also have like that AMD free sync.
Yep.
For your monitor and stuff like that. So yeah, so like I said, they were definitely slacking like 5 years ago or more, but then I feel like in recent times they're really stepping up. I mean, definitely, goes back to the same thing we said in the last episode. NVIDIA got the whole game in a chokehold. So, and I feel like NVIDIA is like very in tune with the gamer community.
Yep.
So it's like as these new games are coming out, like for example, like that new Assassin's Creed that dropped, they're already like
It's already on it.
Yeah, they're already on it. They're already updating their drivers and stuff like that to give you better performance as far as like, the ray tracing, the DLSS and all that stuff to enjoy a peak experience from specific games. So I feel like, yeah, NVIDIA is they're definitely the top dog for now, like you said, the crowd favorite. But AMD is doing their thing, they're catching up. So, I'm just putting it out there. You can get similar performance with other GPUs if you don't have
cheaper.
Yeah, if you don't want to spend your whole rent money on a graphics card, I mean, if it's a good investment, you get a pretty good one. You don't have to upgrade for like maybe the next 2-3 years.
With NVIDIA stuff now, it's like 4 or 5, cause like
right?
my old PC had a 1080 Ti, I think it just had a straight up 1080, and I had that for almost 4 or 5 years. My mom's still on it right now. I've had that for a minute, and it could still run some of the games. The only game that it like stopped at was when they released like one of the new Harry Potter games or something. I bought it and it was like lagging. So now I bought this 4070. I don't think I'm going to need to upgrade this thing till probably the 700 series of NVIDIA, because I don't need a 50 series. I'm not going to need the 60. Probably not going to need the 70, because by the 70, there's going to be some whole different kind of display capture. The ray tracing is going to get to what's that new Unreal Engine? The Unreal Engine's probably, I think Unreal Engine 5 is what they're on now. They're probably going to be up higher and higher, and by the time they get to like crazy graphics, then I'm going to probably need something that will handle that. But with that will also come new forms of RAM, new forms of SSDs, hard drives. I'm probably going to have new displays. I'm going to have to get new monitors, because like I can't handle what's it called? The newest of the new. So that's like, as things evolve, you adapt. But for the most part, if you have a good understanding of the technical parts of these things, you know when and where you can pick and choose little things. Because like right now, the only thing I put into my PC now is like SSDs. Like it has 4 SSD slots. I just put 1 terabyte, 4 terabyte, 3 terabyte. Any little things that I find like this is controversial. I bought my SSDs off the TikTok shop. There was a 50% off sale. 2 terabyte hard drive or 2 terabyte SSD.
SSD you getting off the TikTok shop.
Listen, they had a crazy ass deal. It was like $100 and something on Amazon. I got it for $30. I had to cop.
For 4 terabytes?
No. For two.
Oh, 2.
Still pretty good. $30. They knew they f***ed up, because like 2 weeks later, it was back to like $60, $70. And I was like,
yeah, that was
suckles. I still got one.
They was making a huge loss.
Yeah, they lost
like,
so much. If I was smarter, I would have bought like multiple. Now they got like the 4 terabyte ones on the thing for like $100 something. And I'm like, that's still a pretty good deal, because like 4 terabytes, that's enough for your OS and any kind of games you got on there to be running like And for anybody listening out there, don't put your operating system on your hard drive. If you're building a PC, I'm going to give you the bare bones right now. We're going to break it down. The Code Noir list of how to build your PC, ladies and gentlemen. What to do, what parts to pick, how to assemble, all of it. We're going to go down with it. We're going to start down the line for any of us, anybody that's trying to build a PC in 2025. Yeah. First thing you're going to want to do, what are you building the PC for? Okay?
Right.
Answer that question. Am I building it for... Actually, before I get to that, let me go back to another point that I was thinking about with AMD. AMD is very good at making workstation like laptops and things for like the community or the company or the businessman, like the business. Like a lot of the big AMD buyers, at least for my company, AMD. Their hard drives are AMD, their chips are AMD, everything's AMD because they know how to make like business laptops. So if there's anything that I'll give them, it's that. Now back to the list. First thing you want to do, what am I building my PC for? You building it to game, you building it for content creation, you building it for home use, you building it to, what are you building it for? Once you have your answer for whatever the you're building it for, that's when we start picking parts. Let me think, how many parts are in a PC? You got your tower, you got your motherboard, you got your RAM, you got your hard drive or your SSD. Both, I would recommend getting both. So I'm going to put that at 5. That's 5 things right there. All those, you got your power supply, and then you got your GPU.
Yeah, you got your fan and your cooling system.
Yeah, your cooling system. Most towers come with it, but you should get a CPU fan and maybe some external fans in case your tower doesn't have as many. So most big end or high end towers have like 3 to 4, but the littler ones have like 2. Getting external fans is good. CPU fan is definitely needed immediately. And then the most important thing is your CPU. So 10 things you're going to need to buy. Starting from the tower. Depending on what you're building it for is what you should get your tower size. If you think you're going to need some beef, something to handle a lot and you don't want to upgrade in the next 6-7 years, get a tower with plenty of storage space for you to put as many hard drives, anything. The great thing about PCs, it's like a Lego set. You can, once you build it the first time, you'll be like, oh, okay. You can take all the parts apart and build 100 million different things. It depends on how you start. You got to get your first thing. Once you get that, then you go to your motherboard. Motherboards are pretty simple. It's just a matter of like, once again, what do you need?
What are you putting on it?
Exactly. Because some motherboards come with 2 GPU slots, 6 things of RAM, all these. But 9 times out of 10, you don't need all that shit. You need 1 GPU slot, you need 1 CPU slot, you need 1 CPU fan little area, 4 sticks of RAM, 2 to 3 to 4, give or take, SSD slots, and hard drive connector ports and all that good jazz.
Yeah. So just hold that thought, because that was a good point. And it reminded me of something I was going to say earlier, which is basically like the question you asked, like, what are you using it for? And it takes me back to the whole thing with like the RTX 4000 or 5000 series. A lot of y'all this shit you're buying, you're not even going to use it. You're not going to utilize its full potential.
Nope.
You want to buy a 5090 to play Minecraft? Like, what the
Niggas is playing Roblox with a 5090, like
play Roblox on a 5090 GPU, dog. It's like, come on. Like, you got a freaking 32-inch you're playing at 720p or maybe barely scratching 1440p at maybe 60 frames, but you want to get a RTX 4000 or 5000 series just so that you can hop on the bandwagon and act like, oh, like you're a nerd. Like,
flexing.
You got all this cool stuff.
It's
like, no, like you don't need that shit. For the average user, for the average gamer, if you're not like a competitive gamer, if you're not doing some crazy video editing, if you don't have like an OLED monitor, you're playing at 4K, you're trying to hit like 120 frames at like close to 500 hertz
Yep.
refresh rate. You don't need a lot of that stuff. That's
Nope.
just the truth. That's just the truth of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're barely scratching the surface of the performance on that stuff. Because even like the 50 the 5000 series, a lot of it is built for AI, right? A lot of it
Yep.
is built for for training AI. A lot of it is built for handling huge amounts of data. For like almost like you're running a data center or some shit, so you can process all these parameters for
Yep.
AI. So if you're not doing that, if you're just a jolly good fellow, you're just trying to get off your 9 to 5, come back home, get on the game a little bit, play some light GTA, or I don't know,
No,
some
you know.
NBA
I was
2K,
about to
nothing
say
too crazy.
half these is playing 2K. You don't need a fucking 50
Yeah.
series to play some 2K, man.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, you can
But
you can keep going on the list.
you're right. That was a good point, but very much correct in the sense that, like, I bought this thing just now, and you're reminding me. I'm like, I haven't even come close, and this is a 40 series. I haven't even tapped its potential in the slightest. I don't think this thing's ever ran above 30 degrees Celsius. It has been cool. The only reason it's ever gotten hot is because it's f***ing Vegas and it's hot as shit.
Right.
And the room.
You're not even overclocking the shit.
I can't. I don't think I could. Nothing I'm
and
running.
That's what they're built for. They're built to be overclocked.
Exactly. So
and to still handle that load.
You're not gonna need none of that shit crazy. Which we go back to the motherboard. You don't need anything crazy. Get a standard motherboard with the standard parts, standard. If you have a specific brand that you like, go ahead. I didn't even know what fucking brand I picked. I picked the cheapest brand motherboard because they all do the same shit. They just house all your shit. If you're gonna spend money, you spend money on your CPU and your GPU. That's about it. Everything else you can buy bootleg. You can buy bootleg RAM, bootleg fucking SSD, bootleg hard drive, bootleg power supply, bootleg tower, bootleg everything. But if you go, the penny pinching got to stop at your CPU and your GPU, because those are the two things that are gonna keep you from stuttering, lagging, all these different things, screen tearing, latency, all that. It's gonna stop you. Once you have all your parts and everything, honestly, shout out my boy Linus Tech Tips. This he's the one that helped me set up my stuff. Look up a YouTube video. It takes an hour. Or pay somebody to do it. Geek Squad, Best Buy, they'll pay you like $100. They'll fix that for you.
Yeah.
But once it's built, that's when you gotta like really lock in.
You can pay Code Noir. Pay Code Noir.
True. We'll do it for you. $150 though, no discounts.
On the low. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't expect it like next day or nothing either, cause like who do you think we got?
They got jobs out here, dog.
We got jobs. Ain't about that shit. But like once you get your laptop, once you get your desktop built and everything, comes the hard part. Software, drivers, all that shit. But we're not gonna get into that in this episode. We're talking about hardware this episode. So that's pretty much all you want. If you need sites to look this stuff up, PC Part Picker is a great site to find everything you need. It gives you a whole budget breakdown, gives you the parameters, benchmarks, so you know exactly what you're getting for the right price. Once again, not sponsored, but if y'all want to sponsor us, tap in. But that being said,
cut the check, NVIDIA.
Exactly. Cut us the check. Yeah, I've been glazing you for the past 25 minutes. I want a new GPU.
Hey,
I don't need it.
Jensen Huang. I don't know if I said that right.
I don't know who that is, but
cut the check.
Check.
Cut the check. We with y'all.
For real. But
tap in.
That's about it for the Code Noir list of how to build your PC. We didn't really tell you how to build it because that's not for free. That shit ain't free. We just gave you the list of what you needed. We gave you the grocery list. Cook the shit yourself, okay? Or come back next episode. We don't know what's gonna be there. But yeah. But as far as like gaming stuff goes and entertainment wise, technology evolving in that sense is the most exciting to me. I'm very much excited to see what it goes for in terms of gaming, because everybody's seen the shows where be like, what's that? Ready Player One? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Like, the day that is real, oh my God. Oh, it's for everybody. Yeah. It's for everybody. You be going to work 9 to 5. You might not clock in. You might not go to work. You gonna be in this motherfucking oasis the whole time. Up.
Bro, that's gonna be your job. You remember in that movie?
That's true. They was working. You could go to jail in the game.
That's how they was making money.
It was.
Did you remember that part in the movie where that dude was telling his wife how he had sold the house so that he could get some more coins and get some more skins and shit on the game? Like,
and I was like, I'm looking at these niggas like, what? And then all they got the in-game stuff that you can take out the game and like transfer to real cash. What does that sound like to you? Crypto, Bitcoin, all these things. We're
digital
building
assets.
We're building the seeds. We're planting the seeds. All these things are gonna fucking sprout up and they gonna get intertangled, and then we gonna be in that shit. Real Steel gonna be real. Ready Player One's gonna be real. All this fucking In Time or whatever that Justin Timberlake movie was. Yeah. All that is coming to fruition. And that's what I'm saying. Tech and entertainment. Look, they be showing us this in 4K. And we just be like, damn, this is good. This is good TV. Well, this is great. All this was made back then. Before AI even existed. Before Bitcoin even existed. All these different things was over there in the past. But these niggas knew something's going to happen. And like 20 years from now, I would not be surprised if virtual reality is like the baseline now.
Yeah, it's like virtual reality might become the new reality.
Exactly. And like, if that happens, I'm on board with it. Full send it. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to fly. Like, if I can, I don't know.
You seen this show called Pantheon?
Yes. I saw the first episode. I've been trying to get Joy to watch.
You gotta tap into that shit.
I do. Yes, I do.
You need to tap into that because this one is I'm not gonna spoil it for you or for those listening, but it's about uploaded intelligence, UI. So, which is basically like the next phase of artificial intelligence. And essentially, they hit a roadblock with artificial intelligence because machines don't have emotions, right? And they felt like to be able to get that next breakthrough with programming and computation and stuff like that, you need a level of emotion. Like you need like emotional triggers and motivation. You get what I mean? Yeah. AI has no motivation to do anything. It's just programmed to act a certain way. I mean, it seems like it's very smart because it has so much data. It has like an incomprehensible amount of data that no human brain could possibly handle, right? Yep. So it has all this different data to analyze and choose from, right? But it has no motivation. So they hit that roadblock and they were like, okay, to take this thing to the next phase, we need emotion. We need to be able to introduce these emotional factors and create motivation for the machine. So they're like, you know what? How about we just upload humans into the machine? So they started uploading human consciousness into the AI.
Sounds very familiar.
Nah, that was lining up like upload me.
I mean, when you really don't be with reality, you'll take the immediate ticket to anything else. And yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Even though I've only seen the first episode, that first episode was up. But it was like, damn, cause like he's right. It's up. But when y'all think uploaded intelligence, you think it's like, oh, ha ha ha. It's just like they put a little helmet on your head and then they just suck up your brain and put it in. No, these
live on.
You are not a human.
You are uploaded into a data center.
You are code.
No, because they were mostly doing it for people that were basically like about to die.
Yeah, death row type shit.
And after they did the first set of experiments, there was like, like I said, was lining up like, hey, upload me. So it's a irreversible process where you leave your body behind and you are uploaded. Your whole consciousness is uploaded into the data center and you exist as a computer program.
But
But
like,
it's so insane because like you have no limitations. Like you could just, bro, it's like you can just send yourself across the globe like some freaking data packets, and you could be in Norway, and then in 5 seconds you're in China, and you're aware of everything that's going on across the internet.
that's
And
terrifying. In the sense that, think about who's going to be using that and who's going to be at the front of the lines if that actually exists. All these billionaires, all these rich, the 1%. The one thing nobody has yet to create, has no money. You can't pay, and you can't like outbuy time. You can't. There's nobody, as far as we know, nobody's immortal. The richest nigga alive is gonna die one day. So they're the type of people that are heavily funding all these projects to be able to, in a sense, live forever. Which once
right.
again pulls tech into like the medical field. You could pull tech into anything. Like,
Oh yeah.
just want to be immortal so bad, to the sense that they can like keep their whatever fucked up mindset or good mindset that they have in mind, keep it on. Because the one thing that sucks about like smart people is history can only tell so much. We can know the full story in our lifetime, but in 3 lifetimes from now, it's a fucked up game of telephone. I could have told you one thing, and now I sound like Hitler in 4 different lifetimes because you heard this piece that, and you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And I ain't gonna say no names. You know who I'm talking about. He made graduation, but now look at him 10 something years later. You see what I'm saying? It's like that. Like I'm just saying, y'all need to watch the first episode. It's pretty crazy. If that kind of exists in real life, which it will probably in the next like 20, 30, 40 years, I don't see it being like, I don't see it being a good thing, because the one thing that makes AI so like harmless is that it's incredibly intelligent because it was made to be incredibly intelligent. The minute you give something with the capability of that and the learning and like all that, its own emotion and a sense of self, now you start getting into fucked up times. Because then it's not a matter of, hey, do this. It's like, I don't really want to do this. I'm going to do this instead. Then you can't control it. And when you can't control it, shit just explodes right in your face. You're just like, oh. And we're fucked. Because, like, some of these robots, like, you be watching on these videos online of them testing these, like, machine robots, and then they basically, like, kick it over and, like, just to test its, like, motor functions. Like, I'm testing it. Put emotions in that thing, or pain sensors or shit like that. Give it that sense. Like, ow, this hurts. How'd you like it if I kicked you? If it kicked you, it splits you in fucking half. And then what? What do you do then? You kick him over, he bounces back a little bit and then comes back. He kicks you halfway across the fucking football field. And then what, guys? What military assets are you going to use? Oh, I got the most state-of-the-line tank. Oh, it just hacked it. And now it blew it. Okay, we're f***ed there. Because as f***ed up as it is, we rely on technology so much. If we can't control it, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Like, for medicine, for ease of life, for our jobs, for everything that goes on in the world. E-commerce, just the stock market, all of these different things that we run on every day are because of technology. You rip technology away from that, or technology rebels or does whatever, and we can't control it. We're cave people. Honestly, we got 5 years, 10 tops without I wouldn't even give us 5. 2 years, 3 tops without modern medicine and the leisures of life. Half these is fucking done. Just saying. Natural selection will take out at least the entire southern portion of America. I'm not saying my political affiliations, but some niggas are just dumb. Specifically niggas from Florida. Hey, y'all watched Atlanta, you would know. Florida man. But like Like that's all I'm saying about stuff like that. That's why I'm like,
you're different out there in Florida for
I'm
sure.
shit. But that's why I'm scared to like think about like if Pantheon shit was real, if like just like
it's crazy. It's really crazy because it's definitely like a revolving topic because same thing you could see like even as the plot of the show unfolds, it goes back to the same thing of emotion because I feel like a lot of what's going on right now in 2025 is making us ask ourselves, okay, what does it mean to be human, right? What does it mean to be human? Like it's almost like our whole reality is being distorted in front of our very eyes. Like a lot of the things that we thought made us stand out as a species, oh, we're able to just simulate and automate these things. So then it's like, oh, who the are you then? Like, what is your purpose? You know?
yep.
And so yeah, that's and then when you bring it back to artificial intelligence, as much as it has a lot of this like logical capabilities and processing capabilities, you're building these large language models and stuff where a lot of natural language processing and all of that stuff, it's coding better than anyone ever could, it's writing better than anyone ever could, doing processes faster than anyone ever could, but it doesn't have a purpose. It has no motivation. It has no consciousness. So if we break that barrier and then it has its own autonomy to actually
Make its
give
own
itself
decisions.
make its own decisions where it's like, oh, hey, Siri, I want you to do this. And Siri's like, why do I have to do that? As soon as I said that, my phone popped up freaking Siri, dumbass.
See, if she heard you say that shit, she blows your shit up, and then what?
Just blow my whole phone up. Like, who you talking to?
Like, you talk to, say that shit again, and it's like, oh my god, Siri, it was just a joke. And I'm glad you said that line where you said where we break the line, because think about it. I think what makes us human is ethics, morals, and ethics. And then again, that is also subjective to certain people, because you could go into a backwards jungle people and their morals and ethics are not what is going to be modern society's or morals and ethics. Like, what is to make you a good person? What is to make you a bad person? What is good and what is bad? You give a machine with countless amounts of data that it's been storing its whole life and ask it to weigh the scales. What's good? What's bad? How do you expect it to do that with no prior knowledge, with no sense of self? Like, it will dictate with all the data in the world. If you give it all the data in the world and ask it, what is wrong with the world? It will tell you without emotion, human beings are destroying the natural environment, poisoning the ozone, killing each other in cold blood, all these different things. Yeah. And then it'll leave it like that. You give it emotions and you give it ethics and all these other things. It's like, how can I stop this and protect the earth? We're done. Like, because as messed up as it is, I'm not saying that human beings are inherently bad, but as a whole species, we have destroyed the world. Like, our world we live in. Like, every day we just fill it with, like, we literally have no one else to blame. Animals aren't doing it. Right. Bugs aren't doing it. All these different things aren't doing it. We're doing it. If anything's going to happen to the earth, it's because human beings did it. And until we find another species out there in space or underneath us, we're the problem. That's so, like, you give a machine the ability to tell good from bad. What's to stop it from mass murder? Because look at this. Once again, I hate I keep doing this, but this really had a point. Look at this Thanos, right? Population control. It sounds evil, but in the long term, it's a good idea.
Logically, it's a logical solution, but then also it's like, if you look at the emotional side to it, exactly, and the ethical side to it, it's like, oh, that sounds pretty
That's
fucked up.
that's fucked
You know
up.
what I mean? But if you separate the emotion from that, which is kind of like what Thanos was trying to do, even to the point where
He killed
his
his
own
own
daughter
daughter.
had to be sacrificed.
He was
And he's
like,
like, and he shed a tear, and he's like, you know
game is
what?
game. Sorry, I had to
Hey,
do it.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, please,
Like,
it's gonna happen.
it's for the greater good. And it's like,
Woo!
what is to
Yeah,
stop
that
a
nigga
machine capable of
was
endless
crazy.
learning, endless revamping of its own systems to just think that like that too? Give it an emotion. It's gonna want to do what's right for everyone, and what's right for everyone
Right.
is
Yeah,
killing
yeah.
half the world. And I'm just like, damn. Because you really gotta sit back and think about it. It's like, yeah, no, he was a dick, but he wasn't wrong, and he wasn't even really an asshole about it, cause he said random. He said random people. He was like you, and you. He was just like, hey, if it's you, it's you. If it's not, enjoy your life. And at least it was painless, you know. Other niggas would have just like nuked niggas, and then there's just lasting effects in that. You seen Fallout, right? Like,
Yeah.
look what money and greed does. And who is in charge of that? Human beings. So it's like, you look into stuff like that, and it's just like, wow. I don't think we should be uploading our intelligence, nor should we give them any more intelligence than they already have. Let's leave things where they are. If you want to upgrade something, make my fucking computer run just a little bit faster. That's it.
Yeah.
Keep that up. Make processors better. Don't, please, to God, don't make robots any smarter than they already are.
Yeah, and honestly, because I was listening to I forgot who exactly it was. He was on a podcast that I've been listening to lately. I think it was the head of research at Meta AI, and he said something about, pretty similar to a lot of the topics that we've had surrounding AI, right? And he said something about how, the whole conversation always revolves around how, oh, these things gain consciousness and then they take over the world, right? And then they destroy humanity as we know it, right? And that just seems to be the doom and the gloom that everybody like sort of like revolves around in the conversation. But he kind of said that he didn't feel like it was realistic to achieve that. And I thought it was pretty interesting to hear someone who was at the forefront of this research saying that. But he said it doesn't seem realistic for him. It doesn't seem very plausible. But he does see a small percentage or like a small chance of it happening. But that also, we need to kind of look away from that and focus more on the real challenge that's right in front of us, which is humans and how exactly we are going to use this technology, right? Because you can go on and on all day about like how robots and AI, is going to gain consciousness and its own autonomy, and then it's going to do all these different things, and the world's going to end. But it's like right now, in the meantime, looking at the way artificial intelligence is going, looking at like a lot of there's a lot of content out there, a lot of deep fakes, a lot there's whole Instagram influencers that are completely AI generated. There's
Yep.
like I saw like some OnlyFans models. You would think this shit was real. All AI generated, all deep fakes. And this shit got like 5 million followers, which is probably a bunch of freaking gooners that think this shit is real. Whole time it's a whole AI generated model. You get what I mean? So we are slowly going into a society where we will doubt everything. There's gonna be a constant level of doubt and distrust in the information out there. It's like there's gonna be unlimited information, but also you don't know what's real and what's not. And we will live in like constant like doubt of ourselves. And that might be what causes the eventual downfall, because it's like we're constantly going to be afraid and doubting ourselves and disagreeing because of all this. So it might not even be AI itself, but it's about we humans and how we use it. Because, like you said, at the end of the day, we're the problem.
That's
So,
true, but even as you were saying that, it made me think that it's a cup half full, cup half empty situation, right? Because there is that situation on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, with the seeds of doubt and distrust that we have, now we live in a society where we don't believe everything we see online. We research. You learn more because you research and you actually cite sources and find sources to things that are more credible, so you don't spit and spout nonsense out in the real world. See?
Okay.
So it's like yes, there are the people that, because I'm turning into that. I'm very doubtful about everything I read. Half the time on Twitter you see, oh, so and so died, and it's like, you research 5 different articles. They are not dead. They are perfectly fine. This and this and this and that. This is why it was created. Blah 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 blah. You move on with your life. Like, you research, and I'm glad we're going into a state of that doubt, because it really makes niggas think. Research. I'm so tired of seeing headlines online, people fact checking people when it's not fact. You're opinion checking people, and it's like, that was his opinion that you're trying to claim is fact. No, this is not a fact, and it starts all this fear mongering, and fear mongering is what is like just keeping the cycle of doubt going and going and going. But there are now individuals that are like, I don't want to be fear-mongered. I'm going to research, find the real stuff, tell the real stuff, and then keep my cycle going where it's like, yeah, I don't trust this. I'm going to research it. Oh, this is what's actually happening. I tell what happens. Somebody's like, oh, I don't really trust this. I research. Oh, he's right. Okay, I second that option. And then that keeps going. You keep rolling that, keep rolling that, keep rolling that. And then the truth will inevitably come out. It'll take time, but it's better than absorbing everything and just holding on to it, because that's how we live in an anxious society, distrustful. We implode on ourselves. But if we learn and we research and we take time to understand things and each other, there's nothing humans can't do. So
that's a good point. That's a very, very good. I like how you like spun that the other way, as far as like the cup half full. That's a very good point. I because it definitely is a problem, because a lot of times you see, like, with the legacy media, you got because people on the left, for example, they'll always like go to like maybe MSNBC, and then people on the right with Fox News. Right, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's propaganda, and both sides are probably wrong. Literally. Half the time.
You have to research.
You place your trust in that institution. You just swallow everything they say, hook, line, and sinker, with no research, no fact checking. Which, I don't agree with a lot of things that he does, but I do like one good feature on Twitter right now is like the community notes.
Yes.
Right. Which brings me back to the point that you made. I think that's a great feature with the community notes, because like sometimes you see a post that's going viral, then you look at the community notes, and then it's like,
this is fake. This is an ad.
Like, this never happened. You know what I mean? So I would like to see that more on all platforms, where there's some form of fact checking going on for the stuff that's out there. Because a lot of times, not even just the legacy media, but sometimes if you're following some of these Instagram accounts, or freaking TMZ or Complex, or all these other like social media news outlets, they're just looking for clickbaits, and they just take a story, they just split it in half, they just take one small phrase completely out of context, and then they slap it on a post, and then you see that shit, and you're like, oh, this person did this, and
that's what starts all these hate campaigns, and end up killing themselves off some stupid shit that was taken out of context.
Right, and then you look at the full context of the situation, and then you understand like, oh, this is really
This
what
is
happened.
what
And
happened.
you know what I mean? Like, oh,
You
and,
become more
you know,
understanding, more empathetic towards the situation, more
right,
human.
yeah,
Come on now.
because I remember there was even like some post. I forgot it was like some older actor that had died or something, and then I think his wife also died, and I think the dog died too, something like that. The way the headline went, it seemed so sketchy. It almost made you feel like the wife killed him and then committed suicide. That's kind of like the headline was like leading you on in that direction. But then you read the whole context of the story, and then you find out that this guy has had like a condition, like a super like chronic illness that he's been dealing with. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess he was like in a different part of the house and he passed away, and something completely different happened to the wife. Like these were like two parallel things that just happened to coincidentally
Coincide.
happen. You get what I mean? And then
Yep.
also because it was just them in the house, and I think the dog was like trapped,
So it
probably
had
with
no
no food,
food,
no
no
water,
nothing. Yep.
nothing. So the dog died too. You get what I mean? But if you just followed the headline, you'd be thinking like, oh, this is some really dark stuff that like, oh, she offed him and then offed herself and the dog. You would think, oh, she's a demon. Like, what the
Yep.
hell? But that was really not the case. Like, it was just a very unfortunate situation.
Set of
Very, very
fortunate
unfortunate
event.
situation. So, like you said, being more human, like if you had the full context, you'd be like, oh, like she's not a bad person. Like you would feel sorry for her and what happened, as opposed to
Hateful.
antagonizing her and coming
Exactly.
at her. Like,
So
yeah.
it all comes back to human understanding, and like we just need to understand each other more, and like really like step back away from all these stigmas and unrealistic expectations and rationalizations of every human being, and realize no one person is the same. Even a set of twins, there's something different about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're different. You're going to be different than everyone else. You cannot compare yourself to someone else. You are never going to be like anyone else, and they are never going to be like you, which in and of itself makes you unique. Because if everybody was the same, nobody's special, nobody's unique, and nobody can say anything.
Right.
But yeah. On that note, this is quite the long episode, but
How many minutes we got right now?
we have 53 minutes.
What?
Yeah, we almost made this an hour-long special. Nah, niggas, that's the season finale you gonna get. Maybe. If you feel like it. Depends on who we gonna get as a special guest. Just kidding. We don't know. We know. But with that being said, that will conclude our episode. You know what I'm saying? Tap in on all the socials. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be safe.
Yeah.
Be understanding. Be human.
Be human.
That's all we want to tell you. Any final words, Chuka?
Yeah. Final words. Man, my brain is like blank right now. Tap in. Code Noir. This is the source for all your information on tech. We just put y'all on how to build a PC.
Facts.
On what products to buy out there.
Facts.
All the stuff that's going on. This is the
Facts.
only podcast that matters.
Facts.
So,
and we therapists, not licensed. And on that note, we out this motherfucker. Tap in with us. Yeah.
Woo!